Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I hope all of you are doing very well today. I just wanted to give a quick, not update I suppose, but just wanted to let you know that very recently I finished up a series, I suppose you can call it a series, on the films directed by Dario Argento. Now, the series was one where I just went through all of his works that he directed, one work at a time, for the most part. And at the end, I gave a little bit of a summation of that series by ranking his films in order of my preference. And I thought the end result worked out very well, if I do say so myself. And it did take a little bit of time. I had originally planned to do it all within 1 month of October and before Halloween. But unfortunately, it just spread out over many months, and my work on it was rather intermittent. However, I was able to finish it, and so with that out of the way, I was I put it up on YouTube, and I was very happy with the end result, actually. And it's a bit long, so I apologize for the length, but if you are interested, please take a look at the ranking of the Argento films. Now, I'm not so much into doing rankings as much as others. I know others do a really good job with rankings and lists, and I'm really pretty bad with that sort of stuff because I usually tend to change my mind a lot over the course of just a few days. So, for instance, I had so much trouble coming up with my favorites list for Dario Argento films because it kept changing. Even the top 5 kept changing. And that is just an indication of my own poor ability to choose and to make definitive choices. And that's on me, completely on me. I have this weakness, and I'm very indecisive. So it's not such a good thing all the time, and that's something I really should improve. Be that as it may, of course, I did do a list, and it has me thinking now that the Argento film series is over. Now, what should I do next? There are a number of things that I'd love to do, and it's just a matter of getting through them because it's hard because, unfortunately, time is so precious and limited, you know. But there are some ideas that I have, and I do want to let me think about it. And hopefully I will come up with something that is workable and something that hopefully might be of interest to you. Then I will proceed accordingly. There are a few ideas in terms of maybe do I want to do another director's series, or maybe focus on a writer, or maybe focus on a different genre and just have a little short series on that, or something of that nature, or a particular actor or actress or something. There are some ideas that I have. I do, again, I haven't thought of anything concrete yet, but I do, as I've mentioned, I think previously, I do want to cover some Japanese film directors that I'm very fond of. Takeshi Kitano is one. I have been thinking about trying to approach the films of Hirokazu Koreeda. And I am thinking also about the films from Studio Ghibli, but that's still up in the air because there are some there are a lot of things that I really want to try to get through, because it's, from my point of view, it's not just a question of whether or not I can show the Blu-ray or whatever it is, but also it's tough because, you know, for example, the Studio Ghibli films, those films are actually quite complicated, I think, in terms of thematic structure, in terms of what it reflects in terms of Japanese society. Yeah, there's some real pressing issues in a lot of the films that are very interesting to talk about. And so I'd love to talk about those. It's just a matter of getting the time and being able to do it, because unfortunately it does take a lot of time to do this, and so I do want to try to focus on that, but still do it in a way that is the most productive and efficient for you and the use of your time. So let me think about it, and let me see what I can come up with, and hopefully I might come up with something that might be worthwhile to you. Who knows? But there are some other ideas, not just the types of films, but there are. I have been asked also about television shows that I'm interested in, and the like. And to be perfectly frank, I'm not a big watcher of contemporary TV shows, so I don't watch Game of Thrones, although I do know the story to some degree. I don't watch the series at all. I think the last major modern television series I think I saw in terms of a full season was, I think, the maybe season 4, was it, of Mad Men? And then after that I saw bits and pieces, but I never saw the complete seasons up to the end, although I do know what happens at the end because I was spoiled because of something I read online. And that's not to say that I dislike the show. I actually really like Mad Men, but it's just that I couldn't find the time, because around the time it was around the time that I started my family, and I had to stop watching the TV shows because I was preoccupied with other pressing matters. So I think that had a lot to do with my situation now, which is I'm not into contemporary television shows, and I think that has a lot to do also with the fact that has also a lot to do the reason behind me not necessarily going out to the movie theaters as much. So I don't have a grasp of modern cinema and everyday cinema. So I think that has a lot to do with it. So, but I have seen TV shows before, and I do love television shows that I've seen. Again, my tastes, I think, are very narrow, so perhaps you don't necessarily like what I have to say, but I do like the television series that are adaptations of Agatha Christie novels and short stories. So I'm a big fan of Poirot, the television series Poirot with David Suchet as Hercule Poirot. I'm a big fan of that. And also I'm a big fan of the BBC Miss Marple. Now this is the older series from the mid-80s to the early 90s. 12 episodes, and all starring Joan Hickson as Miss Marple. Now this is the Miss Marple that I know and love, and actually here it is. Here's a DVD set of the first 3 of those episodes. So The Body in the Library, A Pocket Full of Rye, and A Murder is Announced, and this is from the BBC, and this is I think a DVD set that I bought in the United States. This is, for me, this is one of my favorite shows ever, and I revisit this many times. So this might be something that I could talk about. Miss Marple, the Joan Hickson series, all 12 episodes, and who knows, maybe I might do something like that. Speaking of television, I don't have the set in front of me, unfortunately. I don't know where it is, but I'm a big fan of the TV series Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and also Smiley's People. Now this is the John le Carré adaptations that starred Alec Guinness as Smiley, George Smiley. So those are just, for me, classics. I always thought that Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy was like, it's like, it's like Sense and Sensibility, except for spy thrillers. There's a lot to do with human nature, and there's a lot to do with the etiquette of spycraft, if you will. I love that series so much, and Smiley's People too is just a remarkable series. And I have the novels. I love the Carla trilogy very much, with The Honorable Schoolboy, as some of you know, in the middle of that trilogy. But I love Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, the novel, and Smiley's People, the novel as well. Those are excellent reads. But yes, so those two series are among my favorite television shows. I'm also a big fan, and maybe some of you know the series Inspector Morse. I'm a huge fan of Inspector Morse and John Thaw, and I love those episodes. I used to own the entire Inspector Morse series on VHS tape, all the way up to the last Inspector Morse episode, which is called The Remorseful Day. And my goodness, when I saw that, it was indeed a remorseful day. So who knows, maybe I can cover the Inspector Morse series one of these days. But I got this also recently, speaking of television, which is the DVD set of Karaoke and Cold Lazarus. Now these are the two television series, limited series. One for BBC and one for Channel 4, and these are the last two works by the writer Dennis Potter. And I remember seeing these when they were broadcast actually in the United States, and I was fascinated by them because they were so unique, and they were unlike anything I had seen at the time. And from there, I was introduced to the world of Dennis Potter, and I became fascinated by his work. And so I love his other work, like I have it here somewhere, but Pennies from Heaven and The Singing Detective in particular, Blue Remembered Hills. I don't know if you know that, but it's a brilliant teleplay, and other works that he did that later became available on DVD. Not everything, but many of his stuff later became available on DVD, and I have most of that stuff somewhere here. So who knows, maybe I could start talking about Dennis Potter's works, his television works. So that might be a possibility. Who knows? I'm not sure. And also there are other things that I'm focusing on. I have spoken about it before, but as some of you may know, I am a big fan of the Criterion Collection Laserdiscs, and so it is my plan actually to start talking about each of the Criterion Laserdiscs one at a time, and just to share with you what's on the Laserdiscs, because a lot of them have special features, and sometimes the special features are sometimes features like commentary tracks and the like that haven't been made available elsewhere. And so I think it might be interesting for those of you who are into the Criterion Collection to take a look at each of the Laserdisc titles one at a time to see what's being offered. So hopefully I'll have time for that in the coming weeks. Again, Laserdiscs I think are a very interesting world of not only of collecting, but also in terms of watching films and also enjoying cinema. And I just happen to have the Criterion Laserdiscs, and so for those of you who are Criterion fans, it might be a nice crossover. So yeah, so maybe look for those in the coming weeks or months. Yes, so there are other ideas as well, and please forgive me as always, because as I said at the start of the video, I'm usually very indecisive, and I take too much time, and I just think about one thing and I get distracted too easily. So perhaps that is something that I'll try to remedy. But in the meantime, I ask for your patience and understanding. There are also things that I want to do, and I know that many people, not many, I know some people have asked about the Criterion Directors series that I started. In other words, covering the directors, certain directors who have films in the Criterion Collection, and then talking about their what their films are in the Criterion Collection. I know that some people have been asking about, am I going to do another 5x Criterion? And the answer is yes. I'm going to do more 5x Criterions this year. So, and I actually have a few shot as well. Not a few. I have 2 of them shot as well, but I haven't uploaded them for certain technical reasons. So, but I am going to do more 5x Criterions. So that should be something, hopefully, that you'll be interested in. And also, I have to continue with my going through the Criterion collection in spine number order, and I haven't yet shot the video, but I'm scheduled to make a video on the film Sid and Nancy. And I'm going at a very snail's pace at that one, and I have to apologize for that. As I said, I think elsewhere, it might be a case of me trying to do too much with too little. So I really apologize. But at the same time, this is one of the great things about YouTube, and it's just nice because it's not something that I have to worry about meeting some kind of deadline or anything of the sort. I think it's really nice to be able just to go at this nice, comfortable pace for me. This is not a job for me. This is not something that it's not an occupation, but it's really just something that I can do to try to express how it is I feel about these cinematic works, and in some cases television works. So with that in mind, I do have to work at my own pace, and I do have certain time commitments elsewhere, so I really have to apologize. I wish I could spend more time with this, but as of now, it's just my time is limited, so I will try to do as much as I can with the time and resources that are available to me. But if I don't cover anything as fast as maybe you would like, I really apologize for that, and just please accept my deepest apologies. That's just my general excuse. I don't know. It's just, that's what my state of mind is at the moment, perhaps. That might be a good way of putting it. And so I do have a lot to think about in terms of what I want to do next with the YouTube channel. And once I make a decision, I will make a sort of formal announcement and then let you know. Oh, and of course, yes. What am I saying? You know, my dear friend at Razor Wire Reviews, Luke, he's doing his own series on the Masters of Cinema. But I'm trying to think of a way that I could also address the Masters of Cinema line, and at the same time not, I don't want to overlap too much with what Luke's doing, because I think what Luke's doing is a real service to us in the community, and so I don't want to do this the same thing that he does, but I'd rather do something that in some way complements his own work on the Masters of Cinema. So I'm trying to think of what I can do with that, and maybe I'll discuss this with Luke and see if we can come up with something. Maybe we can do some collaborative effort. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud, so I haven't spoken with Luke about this at all, but that might be an idea. And because he has so many interesting insights to make about the Masters of Cinema, and so I know, and also for me too, a lot of people have been asking about certain films in the Masters of Cinema lineup that they'd like to see covered, at least in the Blu-ray lineup. So yes, so maybe one of these days I'll try to see about how I can address the Masters of Cinema lineup. And that holds true, I think, for the 88 films lineup that I have, and also not all of the arrows that I have, but some of the arrows as well. But there is a lot that I have said I would do and I haven't gotten to yet, and it's just that just makes me very embarrassed. And so I will try to gather my thoughts in a more organized fashion and see if I can address some of these things that I want to do going forward. Yeah, so that's basically it as far as where my mind is at the moment. So I apologize for the oddness of this video, or maybe it seems a bit too haphazardly put together. But if you have any thoughts or comments, or if you have any suggestions or recommendations, please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm usually pretty I'm usually pretty open to exploring new oh yes, of course. Before I leave, there's also the issue of the second run lineup that I have, and in particular the Central European and Eastern European films in that lineup. And this sort of thing is again, something that is beyond my own comfort zone, and so I really want to get into those. So maybe I could try to cover those films, but then again, it's hard because I'm not an expert. Those are some other ideas that I'm trying to work out and see if I can get more get more mileage, as it were, out of the collection that I have, and try to present it in a way that is in some kind of form that is at least to some degree of interest to you. I hope, fingers crossed. So yes, so if you have any thoughts or comments or questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Of course, I would love to hear what you have to think, and it always helps me, and it helps me to clear my thoughts and to make things more lucid for me. And therefore I always think that your contributions are so essential and so important to me, and I'm always grateful for your time and your consideration and your just genuine kindness and thoughtfulness. Again, cinema and the love of cinema is not, it shouldn't be a solitary thing. It should feel like, we are all together, as it were. And so I love that feeling. And so let's see let me see what I can come up with. And if you have any thoughts or comments, please let me know below, and we can continue our discussions accordingly. Okay, my friends, sorry for this long video. I apologize as always. Please forgive me. And I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you are, and that you keep on watching a lot of great films. Incidentally, today is, what is it? It's January 23rd, 2019. And in 2 days, I am going to be going to the movie theater. My first trip to the movie theater in 2019. And I'm in Tokyo. And what film am I going to see in the movie theater this Friday? Suspiria. So I'm looking forward to watching the remake of Suspiria. And maybe, who knows, if I can find the time, I might post a video and letting you know about how I feel about that film after I've seen it. Until then, my friends, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Peace be with you all, and until we meet again, cheers.